Hey everyone, welcome to the Soulful Eclectic. I'm your host, Diana Collins, and I want to welcome everyone. Welcome to those who are new, and this is your first interaction with the Soulful Eclectic. Thank you. Welcome to the tribe. Thank you for taking your time out to listen to the podcast. Also, welcome back to those who have been following, listening periodically. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I thoroughly appreciate it. And also, thank you for sharing the podcast with friends and family who may need that extra boost or even just, need some edutainment. What can I say? So, thank you so much for that. And this is part two with Dr. Stephaine English, and we talk about love, family, and maintaining relationships in this episode. And yeah, we talk candidly about maintaining intimate relationships within our partners and within our families, right? And we talked about how we have struggles in all communities with intimacy and remaining connected. So with this, we're gonna just get right into it. Thank you. So, relationships and family, that's something that people are struggling with too, right? Even before the pandemic, we were struggling with maintaining viable relationships, either with husbands, wives, boyfriends, whatever. And I know that's a real big issue within not only the heterosexual community, but in the LGBTQ community. And we talked a little bit in past episodes with domestic violence and how we overcome that. Especially, me personally, I put myself out there as well. Past violence and how I've grown from that and all those other individuals. But in your life, how have you dealt with good bad relationships, and because all those pieces are a part of us, which I like to tell people. They're like, I want to forget that, but you really can't, because it's built into who you are and how you've grown. We talked about evolving, so that's a part of your evolution. You had that experience. Now you take those steps again, nursing process. You assess, you diagnose, and you make all those changes, right, to be that better person. So you talked about how you are how you come off to some people that you can be strong, but and we've all heard this as Black women, that our presence is a little harsh, right? That's to put it nicely. It's a little. So we damper down our demeanor to suit others. So your journey, yeah.
Now, are we talking about now romantic relationships? Are we talking about family relationships, or just relationships in general?
So I'm going to start first with our family relationships. Because that's where a lot of where when we stem out into growth and intimate relationships outside of that, that leads to that. So yes, start with family.
I would say for me, and this may not be true for others, my family and the people in my life have always been supportive.
Mm-hmm.
I was not always in a place to see that because I came from a place of bullying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being bullied, I should say, because I was too tall, I was overweight, I was not just Black, but dark-skinned Black. My hair was short. So I came from that space. And so for me, everything and everyone was unsafe. And even those who were safe and who were supportive of me, I could not see that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so in terms of my family relationships and even friend relationships, even till today, it has been about enjoying them. It has been about appreciating that they've always been there. They always accepted me. And I was the one who pulled away, who didn't want to be around a lot of people because it was so anxiety provoking for me. So for me, it's more about maintaining connections to people who love me and want me in their life, right?
Right.
Because I'm just in the habit of just doing things on my own. I'm in the habit of being by myself. I can sit here all, I don't have to go to work this week.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I'm in the house all week, you know. I may not call too many people.
Right.
And so for me, it's the opposite of, I have wonderful people in my life, good people coming from good places, and I need to reconnect and maintain those connections, right?
Right.
Now, right, because they were always good for me, but coming from where I came from, I didn't see that, right? And I've just got into some bad habits. You know, and at this point, I'm pretty self-sufficient, so that doesn't help the matter. Right? I don't really need to reach out for much, right? But I will say, the story I want to share in terms of emotional relationships is that I was in a relationship with a woman at one time, and it was we were dating, and I forgot what we were talking about, and she sent me a text that was in effect verbally abusive. And I checked it at the time, and she said, "Oh, well, we just getting to know each other." And I said, "There's no part of getting to know each other that includes you calling me a B or whatever it was." Right. What did Maya say? When people show you who they are, believe it the first time. Right?
Yep.
So I went on in this relationship, and it just goes to show it doesn't. Finding yourself in a relationship that's not supportive, whether they're not supportive of your interests all the way through physical violence, right? Has nothing to do with your education level, has nothing to do with how much money you make. You could just find yourself in that situation, right?
Yes.
And I did. It wasn't a physically a violent relationship, but I just felt that when this person got upset, no holds barred. Whatever came out, and then you're trying to pick up the pieces late. So I knew enough to get out of the relationship, but then it became the person went to the police and forcefully said that I hit them, and I said to myself, wow. You can see how something can just get out of hand. You know?
Yes.
Now I'm going to get an order of protection.
Right.
Now the cops have to be here while she's moving her things out of the house. And I'm sure people are looking around like, what? And it just goes to show, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your socioeconomic status, your race, your high profile, none of that matters. You can find yourself in a situation. The key is, can you get out? Right. Can you find, do you know enough about who you are and what a relationship should be to know this is not right. And this is not going to continue. Now, if I was trying to hide it because I didn't want people to know that the person who's duly licensed as a psychologist and as a nurse practitioner, I don't want them to. That could have been a situation that I would have tried to manage in a different way because I didn't want people to know. Oh, no. I called everybody. This is ending. This has to stop.
Right.
And yes, I'm going to go to the court and get an order of protection. I don't care if it's on record. And yes, I'm going to have people here when this person comes to help her move her stuff out because she's not coming back.
Right.
And if people are on my block and they're looking and watching, so what? Because I know who I am. I know what I want. and I know what's a good relationship and what's not a good relationship. And this is not, and whatever pieces I have to pick up afterwards, including feeling embarrassed for, then I'll just have to deal with that afterwards. But this is not going to continue. But I do remember feeling initially, one, I should have, when I got that first text, I should have stopped the relationship right then. It should not have gone any further. And then I remember like feeling somewhat embarrassed, but then feeling like, you know what? You stood up for yourself.
Yes.
You did what was necessary. And you called the necessary people, and they had to know what was going on. And I have the people in my life that I could call.
Yes.
And I didn't have to worry about them saying, are you serious? How did you get yourself into something like that? Yes. Right? I remember calling one of my girlfriends, and she said, oh, no, you're going to need an order of protection. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Right.
I said, I don't think it's that bad. She said, at this point, she is unpredictable. And she was right. Because I said, you know what? We were sharing a phone account. I said, you know what? I said at the beginning of the month, but something else happened when she came in the house. I said, you know what? Let me do this now. I called Sprint. I was with Sprint at the time. She had changed the PIN. I couldn't even get into my own. I said, talk about unpredictable.
There you go.
She was right.
She was right.
But I had those people in my life, and like I said, I'm human. I live like that. I don't try to put on airs. This is what it is. And I just let people know this is what was going on. And my people came and they helped, whether that was the order of protection, whether that was moving her stuff out. Because the day that she was to move out, she came with herself. How you coming with just yourself? Because she wanted to prolong this for days and days.
Oh, no, no.
I beat you to the punch. I got people here right now.
Like, no, we are not doing this.
The point is, for your audience and for everybody, it doesn't matter. No. You can find yourself in a situation like that. But if you know who you are, that's your lighthouse.
Yes.
That's your lighthouse. You're going to always be able to come home. You're going to always be able to know this is not right. This is not me. And I need to get up out of this.
Yes. So
safely.
Right. Of course. So, and that's hard for a lot of individuals. Like I have been trying so hard. I have a young man who's a friend of mine, dear friend of mine, who I just wish that he would talk about his situation. He's not ready yet, and I understand that, and I'm okay with that. So, we just banter back and forth. But I appreciate that you said it happens in all walks of life. It's not just segregated to one group of people, one individual. And people say, oh, well, if it happens in a same-sex relationship, that's no big deal. It's just two women fighting, cat fighting. It's no big deal. No, it's still abuse. Two men fighting, it's still abuse. That's your partner. Your partner, domestic partner, is domestic violence.
Right.
That other person.
And it's not just about physical.
No, it's physical, mental, financial. Yes.
Right, whatever. Exactly. Go ahead. You're right.
Physical, financial, mental, all of those. Okay, because it generally, as you pointed out, doesn't typically start physical, right? It starts with those little verbal cues here and there. And then it's us not, poo-pooing those little cues, like, oh, it'll be all right. She's just mad right now, or he'll get over it. But it escalates, and next thing you know, it's physical. But you and a lot of us who were savvy and knew enough about ourselves and appreciated ourselves knew early on how to navigate through that. Where some people are not there because they don't have that self-awareness, and don't have that self-concept of love and appreciation for themselves.
Right.
And that is key.
That is key. And the resources. But there's so many. There are resources out there. But it's just reaching out and not being stuck. There's a whole lot of thinking that goes on. How much do I want people to know? I don't want people to know my business. I don't want this to get out. I don't want this. And these are all of the things that keep a person who may love themselves and see that this is not, it's toxic.
It's toxic.
The level of toxicity, there's a range, right?
Yes, yes.
But it's a toxic relationship. And the mind starts playing, I say, tricks on us about all of the reasons why we have to stay and we can't move just right now.
And that age old, what happens in your house stays in your house. We need to change that, you know.
Right.
And
some of it is resource wise, and so you do what you need to do, you know. But I don't think that does play a part. But my experience in working with people in toxic relationships is that's the smallest part. You know, where am I going to go? How much money am I going to need? Yes. That does play a part. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But there are so many people in relationships where that is not even an issue. And they remain in these toxic relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the ones that... unfortunately don't make it out sometimes, right?
Right.
And during this pandemic, I don't want to say that the level of domestic violence has risen. I think it's just become more visible.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah, right? Because they're sheltered indoors with the abuser much longer.
Right.
And that escape of going to work and seeing friends, it's been taken away. And to no fault of their own. But now they're there. So I think the level of abuse is, again, not has risen, but it has surfaced more.
Right. And there may be more incidents within an already domestically violent relationship.
Exactly.
Because of the close contact.
Exactly. So just knowing the resources and being aware that even... and it's going to be hard to start over, but that's your life. So which one do you value more? Your value. Looking at it, right?
Yeah, I mean it's complex. You know,
really is.
One of the things I was talking to my aunt about this, and I said, you know, why do we? And this is just human beings. Stay in situations that don't work for us.
That don't serve us. Yeah.
And like I said before, it's not always because this is the only job I have or I don't have any money. It's not always that.
No.
And most of the times it doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything to do with it. And a lot of it is fear too. But just, I mean, it's a complex process. I would say for anybody who's finding themselves really stuck, where you know it, but you're having difficulty moving, that's where therapy or even reaching out, especially, you'll be surprised. Just that one call to a domestic violence hotline opens up so many resources.
Yes.
Opens up so many resources because they understand it is multi-layered.
Yes.
It's not all psychological. Some of it is money. Some of it is, you know, where am I going to go? Some of it is, I may have to change my kid's school. Like some of it is very practical.
Yes.
As well, you know? And so they understand it. So in no way am I trying to minimize it. And no way am I trying to say, oh, just suck it up. You got to love yourself. Move out tomorrow.
No.
But I am saying it starts with that conversation with yourself.
Yes.
That's where it starts. And with nobody else, just an internal, honest conversation with some some of us are so, if we don't even have conversations with ourselves, because we don't even want to touch the issue internally.
Right.
In our own heads and minds where nobody is privy to it. We don't even want to touch it there.
No.
And that's where you got to get past first.
Yes. Yes.
Have that conversation with yourself first, then go about planning it, and hopefully there's at least one person in your life
that
you feel can be beneficial and helpful, especially people who are suffering alone where nobody knows what's going on.
Yes.
And there are people who can hide it very, very well. Not one person knows. They may have some suspicion, but they don't really know.
Exactly.
And hopefully they have one person that they can reach out to.
And that's the hope. And I don't know if you've come across a lot of men in domestic violence situations, but I know that that's a big, one that no one dares to address. Like, how dare
I have
a
not.
strong
Other
man?
than a same-sex relationship, I have not.
Right. And that's the problem, because we know it's happening. We know it's out there. Men are victims too. And this is one of the things I want to continue to put out there each time, that men do not have to be that stoic person, because men were taught they can't cry, you don't have feelings, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be the breadwinner, these things. And we have to break down those walls and say, no, men have feelings. They can cry. They get hurt. How many people have seen, we've watched Snap, where the wives, went and, killed their husbands and all this abuse. It happens. And we need to put out there somehow that it's all right to speak on it. The problem is when they do, they get stigmatized. They get laughed at. How, dude, you let your wife beat you? I mean, come on, seriously?
Right. And for men, sometimes the domestic violence, yes, it is physical, but it could be verbal abuse as well.
Yes.
And where they feel like, how do you deal with that? I mean, how do I tell somebody that my wife hits me? But even when their wife is putting them down and insulting them in front of the children, in front of everybody else, making a mockery and a fool out of them.
Yes.
They may not even see that as abuse. A lot of us, period.
A lot of us don't
really understand what abuse is.
Right.
Don't really understand what abuse is. No. Oh, I never thought that was domestic abuse. I never thought that was abuse. Really? Oh, really? Wow. I didn't know that.
Right.
But I don't even think you need to name it. This is what you need to know. This is the type of relationship I would like to have. And this is the relationship that I have, and it's not a match. That's what you need to know.
There you go. There you are.
Where it falls on this domestic violence spectrum.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. This is the type of relationship I want, and this is not it. And how do I go about moving on from this?
Right. That right there. That's it. All in a nutshell.
That's it.
That's
you don't need to go to Google. I got to see if I'm in a domestic violent relationship. I got to see where this falls.
No.
This is internal. No, you need to Google internally. What type of relationship, given all the relationships you've had, all the relationships you've seen from your friends on TV, because some of our friends, some people's friends' relationships is just as negative.
Exactly.
So sometimes you can't even go by that.
No.
You might have to go from a book or what you see on TV or imagine the opposite of what you've seen.
Right.
You have some sense of what you want.
Exactly.
Look at the relationship you have and ask yourself, is that it? And if it's not, you don't always have to leave. Let's sit down. Let's talk. We gotta, maybe we gotta level up our relationship. Let me talk to my partner about what I'm seeing and what I want. Maybe it's not a match now, but maybe it can become that. Right?
Yeah, right.
So put some effort there. I'm not saying everybody needs to pack up and leave. Put some effort there. But over time, if you want more and that's not it, it's okay. It's okay. Okay to move on, you know?
Yes. It's okay to move, let go and move on.
And move on.
That's it.
Yeah,
And it's not wrong, it's not right. It's just it doesn't it's a relationship that's not serving you.
correct. And it may hurt. You may feel lost. You may feel relieved and happy. Who knows, you know?
Mhm.
But I think I'm coming from the perspective that I hope this doesn't sound too morbid, but at any point the light's gonna go out. No. And I gotta make sure I'm making the most of each day.
Right. You're doing quality of life.
Quality of life.
Quality of life.
What is the quality of my life?
Yes.
On a day-to-day basis. And it's not even, and I can tell you this from experience. I've been very good changing the context of my life. Mm-hmm. Changing a car I drive, changing, moving from an apartment to a house, changing jobs. I don't like this job. I want this job. Oh, I'm working too many hours. I want all of those changes I've done over time. My happiness was still the same.
Yes.
Until I realized that my happiness had nothing to do with what I had, but with how I engaged life, my relationship with life, and how I was showing up to the moment with all of this negative energy, right? And then, oh, this place ain't for me. Yeah, well, you contributed to some of this.
Right.
You should know.
Right.
But I'm beginning to learn that, you know, it's not just about what I have in my life, but it's about how I want to feel on a daily basis. Yeah. You know, so I ask myself that, what do I want my life to feel like? And right now I want my life to feel easy. So I don't schedule a lot of things on one day. Mm-hmm. That's not easy. You know?
Right,
so,
right.
So those are the things I ask myself. Yes, what do I want to have? That's done. What do I want my life to feel like? You know, I want to have more fun. How can I have more fun? Well, you know what? I want to go different places. Where can I go? Like, I'm asking myself different questions now.
Yes.
You know, and I understand, you know, people have to decide, and I get it. You could not have this conversation with me when I was driving in my little fuchsia Ford Escort. Right. Because I wanted a luxury car. But when I got the luxury car, I realized that, what's the difference? You ain't driving nowhere anyway. You know, right. You're not going no place. Are you taking a car now and now you're driving to the coast? What are you doing? The same thing you was doing in that fuchsia Ford Escort. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Exactly.
So I'm beginning to understand the difference between having, and I appreciate what I do have, don't get me wrong, and actually living and having a great relationship with those things, you know?
Yes, yes. And oh my gosh, that is such a great note to actually close on, because I don't want to keep you, because it's already been an hour, believe it or not.
I know. It was like just having a conversation with a friend. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Thank you. I truly appreciate that. But I do like that in part where, you know, it's about that quality, and it doesn't matter if you're driving a hoopty or that luxury vehicle.
I'm telling you from experience, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It's going to get you the same place.
The same place. Now, I get more oohs and ahs, but I'm so past that now. I'm so past that now.
Because you're living for yourself and not for others.
Right, right.
And exactly. That's the difference when you start listening and looking and living for yourself and not for others. So I want to thank you so much for taking this time. And I do want you to know that I am going to ask you back at some point in time.
Okay, that's totally fine.
Because I do know that there are so many layers to you, as there are of all of us, because we're all on this journey, mind, body, and soul. And I do like to check in periodically to see how things are going and what's new that you have going on, because I know your business is your business is growing and you're busy and you're doing a lot of things, and you may have something that, hey, can I share this with, you know, your community? And I'm like, yeah, more than, you know. So definitely, if that happens, definitely reach out to me and we can definitely schedule something and do that. But I just really want to thank you, because I think you gave so many points of view as far as growth, companionship, relationships, and oh man, just to take those questions that you asked yourself and ask, the community can ask themselves those same questions and
Right.
start to make some changes positive in their life. Not
Right.
saying that they don't have anything positive going on. No, but we all strive to have a better quality of life.
Right. Level up, I call it.
Yes,
We just trying to level
we
up.
just trying to level up. Right. And I'm one too. I'm still trying to level up, right?
Yeah.
I always say I'm not grown yet.
Right.
I probably won't be grown to the day I die. It's all right. It's all
We're
right.
always evolving.
We're
Yes.
always evolving, and that's the human in us.
Right.
That's what makes us human. That's what makes us individuals. And if we can grasp that and build off of that, the changes that would come in our lives will be amazing. People will not be able to recognize you.
Exactly.
Right? Because you're going to have that pep in that step, that glow in your skin, and you're just going to attack the world one wave at a time.
Yeah. One way, yeah, and people will be able to see you real. That's what they're going to see.
Yes.
When you get back to yourself, people are going to be able to see that you are real. You're not that person anymore. And your very presence is going to set boundaries for you. So there's certain things you're not going to have to deal with because people are going to be able to see your energy, see that you're different. They're not going to bring that to you.
Exactly.
They're just not.
Nope. And that's the beauty of it. And so so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I am going to please send. I would love for the community to reach out if they have questions or even want to elicit your services, right? Because we're all professionals.
Yes.
And we're all just trying to help the community, black and brown, and black, brown, white, yellow, whatever, because we're human. The human community, because we're human, and we all need healing on some level. So, so I will definitely share that information with the community so that even though you're in New York, because of the very nature of the virtual world, I'm sure that anyone within the community, wherever they may fall, will be able to reach out to you. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to definitely having this conversation and then some again in the very near future.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Thank you. Wow, what great conversation. I just really want to thank you, Dr. Stephaine English, for being a part of the Soulful Tribe. And I want to share with the community that if you needs to reach her or reach anyone, just reach out to me and let me know. But also, her email address is included in the podcast notes. So just, reach out and ask questions if you need her services because, we all need help, right? It's okay. And admitting sometimes that we need someone to talk to is actually the first step to healing yourself. So please reach out. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and like the page. And also, as you can see, guys, we're on Pandora now, so you can reach me just about anywhere in the world now. I'm so excited. So, also, I really look forward to everyone's feedback. So, if you can email me, dc@thesoulfuleclectic.com, that would be great. You can reach me on Facebook, DC Soulful Eclectic. You can reach me on Instagram, the.soulful eclectic. And you know what? I look forward to hearing from everyone. Please take care of yourself and each other. Check in on your family and friends. And I will be in touch. Namaste.